Hey there, everyone. Good evening. It's Roman Rich. Thanks for joining me on another episode of 66 Minutes. And sorry I'm a little late. Better late than never, I guess. About 5 minutes late this time. I apologize for that if I kept you waiting for a little bit. Hopefully, it just built up the anticipation. And you'll be glad that you waited because we've got a great guest on tonight. So, I am your host, Roman Rich. I'm a promoter, researcher, historian. I'm also the president of the Missouri Route 66 Association. And we're going to spend the next 66 minutes talking about the most famous road on earth. For those of you joining for the first time, this is a live show. It's fairly casual. We don't always get it right. We try to follow somewhat of an outline, but again, being live, you never know what's going to happen, what somebody's going to say or do, any of that stuff. So it's pretty cool. In addition to it being live, it's also an interactive show. At some point, my producer, the Georges, will put up a live chat, and you'll be able to see your own little chat comments. So when you get time, be ready with your questions and comments. We'd love to see them. If you want to send us some messages here behind the scenes, you can always comment in the Facebook groups and on the YouTube channel and stuff like that. So we do use QR codes occasionally to link to different things that we discuss in the show, things that we talk about in the show. As you can see right up here, my hand, I'm just still not getting used to that whole weatherman thing. One of these days, right there. If you scan that code, you can donate to the show. We would certainly appreciate that because the show does cost us money. It's not free. We spend a lot of money on the program and on the cameras and stuff like that to make the show happen. So anything that you donate counts. It's very well received. We would really hope that you'll donate to the show, even if it's just $5 or $10. We would love that. So anyway, I guess we'll kind of get going here. So, hey, George, you want to come online here for a second? Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah,
There he is.
of course
There's
I do.
George. That's one of my producers. That's George Dorr the Fourth. His son is George the Fifth, and he's kind of behind the scenes getting things ready. We procrastinated just a little bit today, didn't we, George?
Here's the last minute scramble.
Yeah,
Nothing
we
new.
were a
We'll
little
start
busy.
a half
So
hour early, but
how
think
was your April Fools?
no one messed with me.
Nobody?
No one messed with me. They know on a daily basis you don't play the game, especially when I hang out with my family. You don't mess with dad.
Yeah. Well, I saw a couple of neat little tricks online. There was a guy named Nolan Stoltz. He had pretended to back into one of the twin arrows out in Arizona, making it the lone arrow. And that got some people going. That was pretty good. I guess my whole shtick is kind of getting worn out. You know, about 6 years ago, we faked rescuing or stealing the John's Modern Cabin signs, which is probably one of the most coveted, revered neon signs on Route 66. It'd be cool if we could show the clip, but we don't have time for that. But instead, right here, there's that QR code. You can scan the QR code if you don't know what we're talking about. But about 6 years ago, I pulled a heist on the John's Modern Cabin neon sign. It's probably one of my most favorite videos that I ever created. And it got a lot of people angry at me. Let's just put it that way. Back in, let's see, it's 2013. So about 2017 is when I did that video. And I had a lot of people really, really mad at me for that for a little bit. And in the subsequent years, I've made a few other people miffed at me. But I didn't get any angry faces this year. So we'll have to come up with something different.
We got to do better next year.
April 1st. What's that?
We just got to team up next year. That's all it is. We got to team up next year.
Yeah, we got to do something better. Yeah,
I know you were on the road yesterday, right? You're out.
I sure was. Yeah,
and out last weekend. So I'm pretty sure that's why we didn't have time to not only get a good April Fool's prank together, but also run 5 minutes late. It's fine.
Well, yeah, and we did the show last week. So what show is this? I didn't even tell people what show this is.
I mean, theoretically, this is episode 7, since last week was a special edition for all of you who watched it. It was a special edition. This brings us to episode 7.
That's right. That puts us at episode 7. Last week we had an episode, but it was on Saturday, and it was the neon relighting in Veneta, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So I hope you scan the John's Modern Cabin QR code. Go look at that video, like it, and share it. As always, you can catch us here every week, every Sunday at 7 p.m. If you fail to get any of our episodes or see them live, don't fear. Don't be in regret. You can find us on my YouTube channel, Hooked on Route 66, and you just go to live videos. YouTube conveniently categorizes videos now, and so you click on the live category, and you'll be able to find all the old videos. Okay, where am I at in my list?
I'm just kind of we're. This is, I've only looked over the script for like 2 minutes, so
well, I just finished it, so
I know we're really on the fly tonight, folks.
Yes, we are. We should have just not even did a script.
It's basically about the same every week, right? You guys have seen the same every week. In fact, I think if we're the same every week, where are we at here? I think we're ready. Are we ready for the T-shirt, Rich? Are you ready for the T-shirt?
I think so. Yeah. Before I say that though, we do have Jeremy Morris with us tonight. So he's in the green room right now. He's going to be with us. He's our special guest.
He's definitely in the green room right now.
All right. So let's have George 5 show our shirt, because this is the front right here. And it just says Route 66 Kingman, Arizona, but it's not exactly Kingman. So let's show them the shirt, and maybe they can show the clip also that I prepared.
All right, we got that there. Woof.
There's the shirt. That's Giganticus heticus. And that's from out of Antares Point, Arizona, which is just east of Kingman, Arizona. It's run by Greg Arnold. He's an artist and creative out there. He's got a lot of cool stuff. I do clip there too. George, can you bring the clip up at all? Do you have that on deck at all?
Yeah, I was getting ready to see where that was at.
Play the Jeopardy music.
Da, na, 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 na.
So we don't have the clip?
No, we totally have the clip. You said give you the Jeopardy music, and I was doing it. Here we go. You ready for the clip?
Yeah. Let's bring the clip up. Oh, let's bring it up on the big window. There we go. Take me out of the screen. Is there a way to just have me on with audio and not video? I guess not. Anyway, these are all pictures of Greg Arnold's creations. That's Giganticus heticus. Play it again real quick. I know we're failing here tonight. Yeah, there's Giganticus heticus right there. That's Greg and I at his shop. He's got a great souvenir shop. He's got this Corvette police car sitting out there. A bunch of great stuff. I absolutely love his work. He's fantastic. So when you get out that way to Arizona, be sure to stop at Antares Point and see Giganticus heticus. It's one of the best photo ops on Route 66, especially in Arizona. Okay, so that's my T-shirt. Where else am I at here today? Let's see here. So tonight we've got this very interesting character, and he goes by Jeremy Morris. He's a resident. He actually lives at Red Oak 2 there in Carthage, Missouri. And that in of itself is just something really we could do probably 2 or 3 episodes on Red Oak 2. But without any further delay, let's bring him in, George.
Absolutely.
What?
Good evening, roadies. Wait. Dramatic reveal.
Yes. Best entrance ever.
That's
there,
your promo.
Jeremy. How's it going, buddy?
How's it going?
It's going great.
Hello, roadies. Hello, 66. Assorted road folks. I'm actually broadcasting from a spooky dressing room here. I got to give a plug here. Spellbound Boutique. I'm not at Red Oak today because our Wi-Fi is just plumb pitiful. And so unless you want to do like boop, 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 telegraph or carrier pigeon, I had to go somewhere where there's Wi-Fi. So our Wi-Fi is very period at Red Oak. So So here we are. I'm in a spooky booth. Support us. She's a Route 66 business person, and I want to thank them. Whoa, I just lost my screen. There we are.
You're still here.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Okay.
You're good. All right, guys. I'm
One
gonna let
question.
you be, Jeremy. Enjoy, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
So, Jeremy, how did you get involved in Route 66, man? I know you and I just barely know each other. We've ran across each other a few times, but
Sure. Yeah, I've known you probably for a
here.
year and a half. I think I met you at Red Oak, actually. I've seen you in passing at different places, but I'll give you the Jeremy story in a nutshell here. I was born in Ada, Oklahoma. I was born 2 yards over from a young Blake Shelton, actually. He was the same age as me, another Ada resident. We played in the yard together. I didn't know he was going to be a country singer at the time. I just knew he was some kid that pooped his pants. But I moved on to Pampa, Texas, the Panhandle. I lived in Oklahoma from age 0 to 4. Went to Pampa, Texas, which is just north of Amarillo, also in the Panhandle. Woody Guthrie wrote a bunch of songs about Pampa, including dust and dust pneumonia, and my favorite, dusty old dust. And so it was home of the largest dust storm in the Dust Bowl history. And so after Pampa, I lived close to Amarillo, so I might have met a young Bob Lyle or Dora there, who knows, when I was a kid. Went to St. Joseph, home of Cherry Mash, Jesse James, the Pony Express, and me. Down to Joplin, over to Blytheville, Arkansas. If you don't know where Blytheville is, that's between Wiener, Cooter, and Tomato, and that's no joke. We dreamed of the day of going to Tomato Tech and getting out and becoming fine citizens. And then after that, I went to Louisville High School in Texas and became a fighting farmer. Went to Fayetteville, Arkansas, became a Razorback. Is one of my props. I have lots of props tonight. Go Hogs, Pig Suey. Graduated from the University of Arkansas. Stayed there for like 20 years. Worked for a place at the end of that 20 called Strategic Alliances Incorporated, which sounds like a James Bond villain, but it's just a Walmart supplier. Yeah. And one day I told them, I said, you know what? I'm moving to a ghost town in a cornfield. And I quit my job in my old life. And I went to Red Oak 2 and I bought a house. And it's the best decision I ever made. So here I am today.
So with that, and I just have to remind the audience, I'm just not as prepared as I wanted to be tonight. I've got tons of footage of Red Oak.
Sure.
A lot of it just really isn't that good. It's stuff I shot back in 2008, 10, and 12, and it's just not that good of footage. But I did put a clip together tonight, and I don't know if George has that ready on deck or not. The Red Oak 2 clip. It's about a minute long, and it just kind of shows real quickly, and you and I can maybe talk about it, what Red Oak 2 is.
Right.
For those, for those people that don't know. We keep mentioning Red Oak 2.
That's the number one question we get when people show up there. What is this place? And I tell people it's an art project. It's historical preservation. It's a Route 66 attraction. It's also 100% neighborhood. People think it's a park or that somehow we get funding from somebody. We're just a neighborhood, and we're inviting you in our yards, basically. So you're guests in our yards. So
Lowell Davis is an artist who left a farm to head for success in the big city. Hold
on a second. That's not the clip, George. That's the Lowell Davis clip. That's not the Red Oak 2 clip. Oh, wow. Right. Please, audience, do not grade us tonight.
It's okay. We're going to wing this.
It's funny because this is
Red Oak style, actually. This is how Red Oak works. We wing everything. It's okay.
Yeah. This is going to go great with my tip of the day when I get to it. I probably should have picked a different tip of the day. So it's all going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
It's fine.
Did you find it yet, George? Are we going to keep talking about Red Oak 2 and not show the people anything? Okay. Well, Red Oak 2 was this fellow Lowell Davis kind of created it in his mind based off of his. There we go. Is it coming? Okay. Well, maybe. Those were just pictures.
These are pictures from Red Oak 2. That's actually in my yard. That's one of my outbuildings.
Yeah. I got your pictures. I don't see the video.
Okay.
You got pictures. Have fun.
But yeah, you want me to talk about it or?
Yeah. Let's scroll through the pictures, guys, and Jeremy can talk about what we're looking at.
Basically, what you're looking at is a former cornfield. There was a farm next door called Foxfire Farm, and Lowell, after spending quite a few years in Texas working for an advertising agency, moved back home to Carthage, the Carthage area. and he bought a farm. And he was a local artist. He's a painter, sculptor. He made farm figurines, which is really what he made his money on. And why do I spend this money on? I'm going to make a town in the nearby cornfield. And so he started trying to save and move buildings from his hometown of Red Oak 1. We're the sequel town. We're Red Oak 2. Red Oak 1 is about 20 minutes east of us on Route 66, closer to Springfield. He started moving those buildings to his cornfield, basically, and just plopping them down. And he made kind of a 3D painting. So some of these buildings and some of the animals that he brought in were the models for his figurines that were sold in shops for many years.
What's this one called?
I got to get this thing out of the way here. Hold on. I'm seeing a blank screen.
Yeah, me too.
It's
another blank screen.
Oh, okay, there we go. So that is that's Carol Klingesmith's cabin right across the street from me. That is a 2-story 1850s cabin with hand-hewn logs. It's hard. You usually don't see the 2-story log cabins from that era. That's pre-Civil War.
That's amazing. And Lowell moved that one too?
He did. That's the Phillips station, which is one of the most preserved cottage-style Phillips 56 stations you're going to see on the route. Unfortunately, the neon was busted not too long ago by some hailstorm, but the sign is still neon. So,
yep, neon's pretty difficult to light up and keep it lit.
Yeah.
So what's this one here?
That's my house, actually. That's the Parsonage of Red Oak 2. That's the center section is from like the 1890s, and there were some additions added like in the 1920s. That's the Parsonage because it's right beside the church. It's where the preacher lived. And at one time, it was also a brothel. So it's a dual use building.
So tell me a little bit about what exactly is a parsonage. Go back
to
that last frame, guys.
You're right. It's where the preacher lived. It's next to the church, and that's usually where the preacher or pastor lived that worked at the church or serviced the church. And we have a working church, too. We have a church that Saturday night they play music, and Sunday morning they have service.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. So
yeah, it's a fully working church.
What time are services on Sunday?
Yeah, absolutely. About 9:30. So sweet. That what we're looking at now is what we call the mother-in-law's cabin. That's the end of my pond. There's a pond right in the middle of Red Oak, and I own most of the center section. There's about 9 owners out there, basically, and about 10 or 11 residents. Because we flip the sign sometimes. We've gone double digits now, so we're big time. That's the end of the pond. That's one of our tiny houses. And that one is just out of the mind of Lowell. That's just his kind of metal years. He went through some metal sculpting years, and that's just a goat on a tractor there. I told Lowell, I was like, you were steampunk before there was such a thing. He's like, what's steampunk? So there you go.
One of my favorite pieces by Lowell is, well, I'll let you guess. What do you think it is?
Your favorite piece? Oh, wow. I don't know. I have no idea.
Of like sculpture.
I'll
give you a clue. It's not at Red Oak 2.
Is it one of the metal signs around town?
Well, it's remote. Yeah, it's off the farm, so to speak.
Is it the distillery one?
No, it's the crap duster.
Oh, the crab duster. Yeah, just down the street. That kind of is the entrance to Red Oak.
Yep.
The manure spreader. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the famous stuff.
For those of you, I don't have a photo. I should.
I don't either.
But the crap duster is an old manure spreader with wings on it. It's got this crazy looking World War I pilot, flying it, and it's just.
Well, the pilot is Lowell. If you look close, that's actually Lowell.
Is it?
Yep. And I was told recently that's actually a geocache there. There's a box in there too somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Yeah. That's a whole other community right there is the geocachers. So you mentioned all this about owning a section of Red Oak 2. So basically
Correct.
What we're talking about is that this is more like an artist's subdivision.
Right.
How did you find it? You mentioned all these different moves. Tell me how you found it.
Sure. No, I've been a long time just road tripper, and about 12 to 15 years ago, I thought, well, it's time to do the road that you hear about in hushed tones. It's time to do Route 66. So, I stumbled into the bookstore and found the Michael Wallace book, and I searched. I'm older, so, VHS tapes of documentaries. I found the Billy Connolly documentary and a bunch of other stuff. And I was like, well, I got to head north to Red Oak 2. I was living in Arkansas at the time. And there was Lowell on the porch, and I met Lowell, and I talked to him for quite a while, and he tried to sell me the chicken book. Of course, he always tries to sell the chicken book. We always have something for sale at Red Oak. And I talked to him a while, and I didn't realize people actually live there, because in the early 2000s, that's when after his second divorce, he started kind of selling off the properties and subdividing. He didn't want to mow anymore, and he couldn't keep it up, and so he's like, let's let's just subdivide the properties and make it a private neighborhood, but keep it an art project, an ongoing art project. So yeah, I, fast forward 6 or 7 years, and I've got an opportunity to buy a house at Red Oak. And I was like, instead of just seeing roadside attractions, why not live in one? And so that's what I did.
That's pretty cool. So you just happened to cross Lowell, and you guys got to talking, and then a couple of years passed.
Yes. And then I came back, and Heather Davis, his middle daughter, was a realtor. And I talked to her about the house, the parsonage, that, like I said, it's kind of a word of mouth thing. It's hard to just know when these come up for sale.
No kidding. Yeah.
And, it's hard to inspect them. It's hard to, insurance adjusters don't know what to do with us. There's bullet holes and there's, they don't understand the place. And so I got with her, and she said, I need you to come over and talk to Dad. So we went over to the porch, and I felt like it was probably a job interview. And so he was smoking his corncob pipe, and he was adjusting his, ascot. He was kind of looking at me, and I started talking about the Bell Star house that he lives in, which is where she was born. And he got more interested, and he started nodding. And we started talking about the Dalton Gang house, which is also on the property. And I think he was glad that I knew the history of it. So he kind of looks at Heather, and he kind of gave her a nod, a approving nod. And I said, okay, this was a job interview. And he goes, pretty much. He goes, you passed. So, I bought the place a few months later. And, I spent many days on the porch listening to him talk to tourists. He would just sit there, and, every night after work, people would just walk up, and he would tell stories, and about half of them were true. And I learned a lot.
That's cool. I'm going to take just a moment, and we're going to do a segment, Jeremy, called our pick of the day. It shouldn't take very long. Hopefully the guys have it ready to go. And so if you guys get a chance, the viewers out there, I kind of troll over the Facebook page. We've got our own Facebook group page called 66 Minutes. And I see people's pictures and posts and stuff in there. And so based on the contributions of the viewers, I will pick out every week a picture of the day. And I think a couple weeks ago, I picked out several because they were so good. But this last week, I got one that really struck a chord with me. And that's the old 76 station by Amy Goldblatt. And that's just not too far from Valentine, Arizona. Arizona is one of my favorite places to go explore and check out. So yeah, click on that QR code up in your upper left-hand corner of your screen. That'll give you a link to our page, the Facebook page. Go in there, make a submission, put your comments and chats and stuff in there, any pictures and stuff, and maybe I'll feature your photo or video on the episode. And I would like to see more viewer videos too. We had a couple. We haven't had too many. But anyway, yeah, I would like to see some viewer videos at some point, whether it's a question or a comment or something. I would love to be able to field your questions through a viewer video. So yeah, go visit the group, and we hope to see your stuff on there. And so getting back to the show, Jeremy, you and I, we met out there in Veneta, Oklahoma about a week ago, wasn't it?
Yes, the neon relighting for the Highway Cafe. Great time. About 200 roadies.
Really good. I would like to maybe show a clip of that if the guys get it ready. Just a quick clip of what the video looked like. That's why we didn't have an episode on Sunday last week. I was not here in my studio. I was out on the road, and it was going to be really difficult to do two shows back to back. So I just did a live relighting ceremony, and we can provide the video right now of that sign. Let's look at it. There it is. Beautiful Highway Cafe sign. And admittedly, I had never been there before. Had you been there before, Jeremy?
I had. I've eaten there once or twice.
Yeah, good stuff. Really good food there.
Really good.
Yeah, I had breakfast there the next day. It was amazing. It was fantastic. Yeah, the relighting, if you guys want to catch that, I don't know if we have a QR code with it or not, but again, you can go to the YouTube channel, Hooked on Route 66, look for live videos. It'll be there because I shot that live and broadcasted it live last Saturday. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Do you ever get out to Webb City very often, Jeremy?
All the time.
Are you familiar with the Webb City Florist? Have you ever been by there?
I've been by the building. I haven't really explored it too much, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
So that's one more relighting that I really like to see the Route 66
Yes.
Association of Missouri get involved with. We've got a little clip of that sign here too as well. It's a really small sign. I'd say it's probably a third the size of the Veneta Highway Cafe sign.
Right.
And it's not going to take much to do. We've already got about a third of the money raised up, and there it is right there. There's the
That's
website.
a nice stretch on an
sign.
old alignment. Yep.
Yep. That's the oldest alignment of Route 66 through Red City. Most people don't even know it's there.
Yeah, that's the one that winds through Euclid and Broadway through Joplin and kind of goes through residential neighborhoods.
Yeah, it's more of a residential neighborhood, but that business has been there for a long time. And the sign counts. And the business is still operational too. So everyone that sees that QR code up in the corner, please donate. We're just a couple $1,000s away from our goal. It's going to happen this year, but it's whether it's going to happen this summer, this fall, or this winter. At this point, I'm going to make sure it happens this year. So, and in case you need to donate and you can't figure it out, you can always drop me a line on one of the Facebook groups or hit me up on an instant messenger or something like that. Anyway, back to the video, our episode. So you go by the Parson. What is a Parson?
You know, that it's one of my characters, I guess. So, you know, I decided I live on a fake farm. Let's become a real farmer. So I started raising chickens and giant sunflowers. And that was, you know, Lowell always said a problem is an opportunity. And so one thing I had a problem with was my septic tank kept leaking. So I was like, what do I do? Grow a garden there. So now I have record 16-foot tall sunflowers. So I'm a real farmer. And I thought, well, I live in the parsonage. So why not become a parson? So I'm a wedding officiant now. I can actually legally do weddings. And so the other day I did 2 in 2 hours, actually. So if you're on the road and you want to get married, I can marry you legally. I can also do funerals, actually, but I haven't done one of those yet.
Well, I'll keep that in mind if the occasion ever pops up.
Absolutely. Or vow renewals, too.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm coming up on, gosh, was it 17 years this year? So maybe for 20.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
We won't talk about my relationship woes. We talked about that before the show.
That's another show, I think. We'll have to get a consent form on that one from the other party.
Right, exactly. We'd have to do a split screen. It'd be a ratings bonanza, but we'll avoid that topic.
Well, I'll be sure to promote it if your estranged significant other decides that she would like to be on the show with you.
It could be a special. Like we could do a special, possibly.
Yeah.
So we'll consider it.
Yeah, that'd be good. So anyway, let's see here. Okay, so I got another guest hiding in the back of the studio in the green room, and he really is eager to ask you a couple of questions. He's actually a former guest that we've had on. He was on episode number 1.
I've seen this one.
And I'd like to bring him on, Sean Fowler.
Oh my gosh, Illinois zone Sean Fowler.
That's
right. What's up, everybody?
What is happening? Invading my show. It's crazy.
How's it going, man? Hey, listen, I came to Rich the other day, and I was like, man, this has got to happen. And he got the opportunity to.
It
Rich,
needs to happen.
Did you
guys? The internet's gonna explode now.
Did you guys know that you are in the company of royalty? Did you know that Jeremy here is actually the number 1 Zagnut salesman in the world?
That is true. So, yes. So, honestly, recently I quit Hershey's, but before I quit Hershey's, we looked into it. Not only was I the regional Zagnut king, not only was I the national, but they don't sell it overseas. So it was worldwide Zagnut salesman. And as far as I know, they don't sell it on other planets. So you could say intergalactic Zagnut champion of all time.
I don't think I've ever had one.
Oh, they're delicious.
It's a 70-year-old bar. It's great. I think it was originally owned by Chase. It was popularized by Beetlejuice. You know, you held up the bar in the movie to feed the flies. So
it's like peanut butter and coconut. It's amazing.
Toasted coconut.
Sounds like something I like to try. Are you still? You said you're not selling it anymore?
So I quit Hershey's. So I don't work for Hershey's anymore. I used to get paid to road trip on Route 66. So now I'm doing my own thing, as they say. And stay tuned. Pretty soon I will be. I wonder if Kim's watching tonight. I'll be working with the Boots Court. They're opening a new. So I don't know if you know this, but I don't know if I'm revealing anything. But they bought the Sinclair station next to the Boots Court, and that's going to be their visitor center, their museum, and they need some kind of, roadie Route 66 guys. So there you go. So that's right. We do finger guns here.
So Sean, what did you want to ask Jeremy? You had some questions for him.
I just got some questions. I think it'd be kind of neat to
I've got answers
to let the audience know what's going on. You
Sure.
and I have had the pleasure of being friends for several years now.
Yeah.
Jill and I have got to spend a couple of nights at Red Oak too.
Sure. I met you at the Plumber's Nightmare Fountain.
So amazing. But I think we should bless them with the story. What happens when the dynamic of Red Oak is too much for people to handle, and you wake up with people in your living room?
Oh, so yeah, this happens all the time. So most people don't realize that Red Oak, is a neighborhood. So people I have walk-ins all the time. I was in the shower, and you got to have a good locking game. You got to have a good curtain game at Red Oak. I got out of the shower just with a towel, striding through my hallway, and I heard some rustling in the back, and I thought it was the cats messing around. So I said, "What are you guys doing?" And human voice said, "I don't know. What are you doing?" And so I walked back there with my towel, and it was a young couple doing Route 66. And they're like, "I guess this is not part of the tour." I said, "Well, you're inside, so let's take the tour." And they said, "We'll come back." And they kind of eased back. So I don't know if I scared them off, but they can put that in the stamp book.
I think I got an idea for a new Route 66 episode. I'm just not going to tell you what it is. You'll have to find out when it happens.
To be revealed.
I tell you what, man. I have to say that Red Oak 2, for the people that haven't got to experience it, it possesses a certain magic that you just can't even understand. I mean, when he's telling you that this was a town that was a real town and then became a ghost town, and then
a fake town that became a real town again.
A fake town and then became a real town again. It's
become a real town again.
I was fortunate that in the early beginnings, I got to sit down and I got to have that long conversation with Lowell. So it was definitely a blessing. But Jeremy's become a great friend of mine, and we've shared some great Red Oak 2 stories. Like I said, I've got the opportunity to stay there a couple of times, and it's amazing. Jeremy, what? Yeah, a lot of people don't even know this, but Jeremy also hosts movie nights on his property. He's got a large movie screen set up.
Yeah. There was an old, just kind of, we repurpose everything at Red Oak. People throw it away, reuse it. Our favorite color is rust. And so Lowell said, "I've got this old wagon over here. Do something with it." So I rolled it myself over to my yard, and I said, "That's about 12 foot wide. That would be a good movie screen." So we put up a movie screen, which blew down recently with the windstorm, but I'll be putting it up before summer. But yeah, we host movie nights, and I project on the screen, and we'll do double features. We'll do our own kind of, not to compete with the 66 drive-in. It's just a private thing. But, we'll do our own little popcorn and double features. And I even have Bluetooth. So I've actually had guests just pull in my driveway to see what's going on. I said, "Hey, Bluetooth it on your speaker for the real drive-in experience." So
that's cool.
Check the Parsonage page for more of that in the future. I'm the Parsonage at Red Oak too. Woo! There you go.
That merchandise.
I got merch. So
hopefully we'll get some lower thirds up here with your information, Jeremy, where people can come find you.
Absolutely.
George will probably get that figured out here in just a second.
Not a problem.
Sean, probably got one more. We got probably time for about maybe just another 30-second question or so. What you got, Sean?
Sure. I got. Well, we could probably do it all night long, like you said. We could 10 episodes on Jeremy, but we know that you are a dedicated, self-opposed appoint. You're like the sheriff. You're like the tour guide.
Well, I'll show you what I got.
However, let's. Oh yes.
That is the original Red Oak badge from Red Oak 1. This was a real one that Lowell gave me. He said, "You live in the middle of town. You kind of get along with everybody. You can herd the cats because we got an eccentric bunch out there."
So let's talk about that. You just started to touch on it. Let's talk about the real four-legged ambassadors of Red Oak 2.
Q, the most famous citizen, of course. Q, Duke the dog. He's the man. And if you want to come see him, you probably need to this year. This is probably his last summer. I'm for real. But he has probably hosted more tours than anyone at Red Oak. And we get people from all over the world
that's my guy.
Ask him by name. So I get people, from Norway, and they come on like, I am Olaf. I have 27 years. Where is Duke the dog? And I'm like, how do you know Duke the dog? Like, we see him on the YouTube. So he's kind of the crowd favorite. He meets you at the front, and he will walk you around the loop, and he will show you the exit. And so he's the real star of Red Oak. We just all live in his world.
He's been Duke the dog.
He's been manning that post right there for 14 years.
Yes. We spent a lot of time together. How about Trumpet? How's Trumpet doing?
Trumpet's doing good. All the cats are doing good. We've got some new peacocks and peahens and some muskogees and, new animals all just kind of congregate at Red Oak. And it's kind of an outdoor petting zoo, too. Just come out there. We got animals everywhere. We just let them roam free. The only one that's really bothering people, and I think I mentioned this earlier, Burrow, my chicken. I don't know if you have a picture of Burrow, but he's become a real menace. And I'm thinking about even selling T-shirts. I was attacked by Burrow at Red Oak, too. He's attacked several people just today.
I think we have that picture. There he is.
Oh, there he is, defending the hens.
Yep.
So Burrow is he's the menace of Red Oak. He's a small banty. You can't really tell from the picture there, but he's a tiny, tiny chicken. But he's got a mighty, mighty heart.
What's going to say on that T-shirt, Jeremy?
What's that?
What do you think that slogan's going to say?
Well, you tell me. I think you had a good idea earlier.
I've already forgotten what I said.
Yeah. This is a PG-13 show, so we'll come back to that one.
Yeah. Okay, Sean. Thanks for coming on and having
one more.
Sean, good to see you, man.
One more quick thing.
Sure.
Everybody, if you want to get in with some Route 66 fun, check us out for the motor tour. Elizabeth is working. Elizabeth and everybody is working really hard on this year's motor tour, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So check us out on our website. Look at that, another QR code.
QR code, I see it right there.
Yeah. So
also a plug. Go ahead.
Check us out for the motor tour. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
And the other plug I was going to say was April 15th. April 15th, the meeting here. I'm going to give a tour on April 15th of Red Oak too. So
fantastic.
There it is.
Yeah, let me cover all that. So Sean is a proud sponsor through Modified Audio, and he's been helping us out for a couple of years now on the motor tours. He's been doing a great job for us, and that's this fall. So please sign up for that. But yeah, what Jeremy just mentioned is in a couple of weeks on the 15th, we've got this great meeting in Carthage, and folks, I got to tell you, when you come to this meeting, plan to stay for a day or two. Like, I would come on a Friday and then explore the town, go through the courthouse, go see Red Oak 2, and then come meet us on the 15th at the meeting site, the quarterly meeting for the Route 66 Association of Missouri. And I think we might have a QR code for that meeting too. I think we've got that, don't we, George, someplace? He'll bring it up if he's got it. But sure. And then stay the night,
boots,
and catch a drive-in movie at the theater. A legit drive-in movie theater at the Route 66 drive-in.
Yes,
it's a great movie theater. It's awesome.
It's one of the best. Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's like a step back in time. They take great care of that place.
Sure, I think it's one of only two that still has 66 in the title too.
Yep.
Yes, and I mean, so when you're coming to this meeting, the meeting's gonna be great. But Carthage is just one of those towns that really kind of gets overlooked. If for those people that are planning Route 66 trips,
right,
you could spend 2 or 3 days there easily with no problem.
Sure,
and because of the theaters, because of the different motels, because of Red Oak 2. And for me, someone like me, an explorer, the bridges, there's like 15 or 20 bridges around Carthage. All these old bridges and the Wee Bridge. We're going to cover that in a little bit too.
Yes.
Kell Lake Kellogg. There's just so much cool stuff to see there in Carthage. There's old relics, old buildings. Lots of great little restaurants and cafes. Carthage is really a great under-promoted Route 66
Absolutely.
town. I think that's going to be changing. It seems to be getting more and more popular as the years go by. So yeah, I hope you join us.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Pancake Hut. You got to see their. They just fixed up the coin box.
Oh yeah,
a lot of money on the coin box. It operates now, so you got to go see that. It's another attraction. Just stay at the Boots or the Budget and go eat at the Pancake Hut. See your movie. Coming out to Red Oak. All the above. Zoom the Wee Hill.
That's right. We're going to cover that next. Sean, thanks for coming out, man.
Hey, Sean. Good to see you, man.
It's always good to
see you again.
buddy.
All right, buddy.
Bye, guys.
Take care. See you soon.
So we mentioned the Wee Bridge. So I had a clip, and maybe Jeremy, we haven't talked about it, but you brought it up to the show that you made it a mission that you wanted to save this bridge. There's so many bridges in Carthage. I mean, literally, there's like probably around 20 bridges that go to railroad tracks, and there's two different routes of Route 66 coming in town. There's two different routes that go out of town, maybe three, and there's just so many different bridges. Were you thinking that it was the Wee Bridge that they're talking about tearing down and rebuilding?
So this is just kind of a last minute thing I thrust on you here. I just heard an article on TV, and it was talking about I thought the Wee Bridge might be. It's been destined for destruction for so long, but I think they said they were going to make it a priority. I think it was the Oak Street Bridge. They kept talking about the Oak Street Bridge, and if it's the Wee Hill, that's kind of oof, because that's one of the most fun sites, 66 sites in Carthage. So it's something I would definitely want to see preserved if that's possible.
So I got the news clip. Maybe George will play that. I think we've got the news clip here.
Hopefully,
no, that's not it. That's not it, George. News clip. Let's see here. We'll find the right one.
Right. And again, I've got to do some research on this because I don't want to be a font of misinformation, but I'm pretty sure.
No, it's okay. No. I've got it clarified. It is a Route 66 bridge. It's not the Wee Bridge.
It's not. Okay.
It's down further west.
Street in Carthage will soon receive some much needed TLC. You're looking at it. It's one across the street from the Carthage Municipal Golf Course where Old 66 Boulevard splits south. Jasper County Commission has hired Algier
when I saw those guardrails, I was like, nope, that's not it.
It's cost about $3.7 million, or
a
little more than $1 million for a box culvert.
It's still a Route 66 bridge.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, it's still a Route 66 bridge. It's still important. Correct. And when they mentioned further in the newscast that the rail line was abandoned underneath, I said, well, I think the one under the Wee Bridge is still very active.
Yes, in fact, I heard they were saying it wasn't even tall enough because they needed to be able to get 2 stacks below it.
Well, I'm hoping to get some more air.
Me too.
They can increase the height of that bridge. I could maybe.
Well, me too. I want to get a better jump. Of course, I'm not. I probably should talk. I've had 2 major car wrecks on Route 66, so I need to slow down.
All right, well, let's play a clip of the actual Wee Bridge, and this is just something I dug up at the last second. It's about 10 years old at least. We'll get that clip coming here in just a second. There we go. Full screen, guys. Okay, so this is the old Wee Bridge, and right there you can kind of see. I wish the clarity was better. But I wish you could see the scrapes in the pavement as you come up over that bridge and come back down. And a quick little note about that bridge: this bridge has destroyed. Well, the driver of my vehicle, which was me, managed to destroy 3 laptops jumping this bridge.
It's worth it, Rich. It's worth it.
It was not worth it, but three times. In the old adventure truck, I have this laptop station, and you'd hit that thing. You only in that truck, it's so heavy, you only catch maybe 2 or 3 inches of air,
right?
Which you think your Duke's a hazard when you're doing this, and but it's enough that when you come down, it's a shock. To a laptop and cracks the screen and destroys it, and
especially if you're going west. I feel like west is a little rougher than going east, so that's the fun direction. I think.
I don't know. I think they're both pretty bad. I've jumped it in both directions, and I've known other people that have had rental cars that have jumped it too. And I usually try. What I usually do, I'm not advocating anybody go jump this bridge. By the way, please be very careful. Don't be an idiot. Just because someone says they did something doesn't mean you have to go do it too. But I like to kind of go west and then turn around and come back east.
That's a pro tip.
That way, if there's any pedestrians or anything, I would have seen them. I definitely don't want to jump blindly. And there's a ton of houses on the west side of that bridge.
That's absolutely true.
And so it just be,
Be
you
careful.
probably shouldn't do it. Actually, us even saying this is probably not going to go well for saving the bridge.
66 minutes is going to be shut down now.
Well, we won't be, but they might do something to that bridge. So anyway, I was happy to see that they were talking about the bridge down the way, even though that's a neat old looking bridge too.
Yeah, sure.
I think it dates back to about 1924.
Yep.
That would have been, if memory serves, that would have been on the original alignment of Route 66 going out of town, I think. Yeah. I have to go back and check my notes. But anyway,
yeah.
So I want to move on to the tip of the day real quick. And Jeremy has no idea what the tip of the day is, but feel free to chime in as I get into it.
Sure.
So small business matters. And one of the coolest things that I've seen come about as this kind of renaissance of Route 66 and all this is like mom and pops actually having a fighting chance now, compared to these corporate chains, whether you're talking about places to eat, entertainment, or like places to sleep.
Sure.
For years and years and years, nobody could compete with the corporations. And then right around probably 2010, 2012, we started seeing changes. Well, small businesses, they have the upper hand now. And why is that? My tip of the day is support your small businesses by giving them reviews, positive reviews, especially. Show them how much you care by taking the time and doing a positive review. I personally use Google Maps. But that's kind of like the David and Goliath situation here. And I would like to think, Red Oak's been around for how long, Jeremy? Red Oak too?
Probably 40 years in its current form.
Yeah. So, but nobody really understood that it was there. I mean, like,
it was a word of mouth place for so long.
Yeah.
We're finally
everybody knows it's there. Yeah.
I think
it's became very popular. And I would like to think that's because of reviews and the social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all that stuff.
Yes. And anecdotally, it used to be more probably international traffic, but I've noticed, and it's maybe post-COVID thing, a lot of locals are coming to us now finally, and a lot of young people actually. So that's a good. So we need to shepherd into the next phase because, like I always say, Route 66 is so tied to individuals and families, and it's such a DIY aesthetic that we need constantly new blood. And so I'm loving seeing all these new people getting involved and getting excited about it.
Got to keep the evolution going. So building off of that tip of the day, people I think are tired of the corporate fare and the corporate treatment that you get. They want to experience new, unique places and people too, where you can actually witness firsthand people's passion and creativity. So, the social media aspect has really enabled that to be a possibility. Now, anybody can compete with anybody. And the review system, everything is based off of merit. And it's, for the most part, I'd say most of the reviews are pretty legit. So when I was a kid, I used to watch these various TV shows and stuff that would review products in places and things like that. And I used to tell my parents when I grew up, I want to be a paid critic. And they thought that was the stupidest thing ever. I'm still not getting paid, but it is kind of fun to post constructive feedback and reviews. But I have some tips and some guidance. And again, I predominantly use Google Maps. So when you have that great experience, just take the time to express it in detail on a review. And George is just kind of showing my Google Maps feed right now. And in just a little bit, he'll put a QR code up that gives you a link to my Google Maps. So try to keep it positive whenever possible. I know it's easy to have a negative experience, but I'm just asking for people sometimes to have some grace, maybe try to give some empathy or sympathy to the management or to the people working or to the owner of the company, because, we've had some labor shortages and stuff like that. My mom always told me, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. And I'm not saying that. If you do have a bad experience, put yourself in their shoes for a little bit. Were they having an off day? go and read the reviews that they already have. Do they have a lot of good reviews? Do they have a lot of negative reviews? That might tell the story a little bit. My number one tip to build off of this tip, if you're ready to fire away, you had a bad experience and you're ready to throw out that 1 or 2 star review, was it really that bad? Could a 3-star review with some critical feedback be more beneficial to the business? The number one thing you should do before giving a negative review is wait a day. That's it. Just wait 24 hours or a day or two before you go and launch that negative review out there. Because a lot of times when you're ready to give a negative review, you're emotional, you're aggravated, you want revenge. So they'll give you more time to think about it and exactly how bad it really impacted your life. But if you do decide you're going to give that negative review, try to make sure it's always factual. Touch on 1 to 3 points that were negative, maybe. Don't go into the whole big thing. Nobody wants to read that. And pretend like you're talking to the ownership. Pretend like you're addressing this review in a professional way to the management that makes them want to read it, makes them want to understand it and embody what it is you're saying. Because, every once in a while, you may come across that person who just has a horrible attitude problem and they're not going to change for anybody. I think one of those is the little teepees up in St. Clair, Missouri.
Wow. Yeah.
They've been generating negative reviews for like 15 years now.
Yeah.
And I've actually stopped in there back in, I think, 2004, and it wasn't great back then either. But, I've written a lot of reviews. You want to appear to be the bigger person. You want your audience and your other consumers to take you seriously. So write the 5-star reviews, get those out there and be really eager, but I would really restrain on the negative reviews. If you want to go and follow me up on Google Maps, George has got the QR code up there. Most recently, I did write a negative review about a restaurant in St. Robert, not on Route 66, but in St. Robert. I've been there twice in my life over the last 10 years. I'm not going to go into the review. If you want to see it, you can kind of see the style I use. I was very constructive in my feedback. And I hope that one day that I can walk back in there and they will have taken my advice and changed some things, because it'll make their business better. It'll make their lives better, and it'll make their customers happier. So anyway, you can click up there and check it out. What kind of reviews have you given, Jeremy? Do you ever?
We just went to the top of TripAdvisor's #1 thing to do in Southwest Missouri. So we're there. I would also add to what your point is, cross promotion. So visibility is so important to, as smaller businesses and attractions and that sort of thing. So, if you take a picture in the yard, use that, give somebody a card, say, hey, tag us on social media. The more hits, the more visibility, the better. Bring more people to us. We can sell more merch and can keep the stuff going. I mean, I do this because I love it. I don't do it because I'm becoming a millionaire. It's there's nothing convenient about living at Red Oak. It's just fun. There's no place like it. I wouldn't trade it. But please promote as much as you can, and think about that. When you see these small attractions, definitely tell others about them. And so
it only takes 30 seconds to throw that review out there with 4 or 5 stars. Post a picture too. That and you may or may not know this, because I've written over 500 reviews. But when you post photos or videos with your reviews, they are weighted. They will get a lot more traction and they'll get a lot more visibility than someone who just throws out a sentence with a 5-star review. Those get buried.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely. And tag the Parsonage at Red Oak too if you come through my area.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hey George, let's open up the chat lines and see what people are talking about, because we got about 12 minutes left in the program. Let's see what people are talking about. Have you seen any comments or chats or anything out there, George? Usually you guys keep pretty good track of that.
Not a lot of people are talking right now. We got my favorite comment was the boots. Jeremy, you know what I'm talking about?
Kim at the boots, probably.
Yeah, Boots Court. Jeremy can tell all kinds of stories. You don't need clips.
It's true. We can just do a clip show with just me, just fast-paced stories.
Right? I mean, they missed the half hour before we started, and I was already intrigued in the first 30 seconds.
Right. Well, that's episode number 2. Then in the future, then we'll do a follow up. We'll do a live feed
over here
from
going, wait, this is in Missouri. It's in Missouri. I'm like, yeah. He goes, so like
Missouri. Technically.
Yeah, it's Missouri.
Got to get it right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Missouri.
Southwest Missouri
I
is
forget.
Missouri.
We're kind of north in Missouri.
You're kind of more I. We're more A.
We're more I than A.
It's true. Once you go north of Jefferson City, I think that's where the vowel changes.
I think so.
We'll head down to Missouri.
Please.
George is really excited now.
This is a great corridor, yeah. In fact, it's, a lot of people, I tell, please don't get off at Springfield and go on the bypass and miss us and miss Kansas and get back on to Miami. Please don't. Stay on the 2-lane. Ask the person at one attraction, what's the next thing? Our best cheerleader is, George and Barbara over at Gary's Gay Parita. That's, they say go next. They even have a sign that says Red Oak 2 that way. So you go to Spencer, you go to see Ed and Stephanie over there, and you come back to Red Oak, and then we send you the boots and the drive-in. So
I think this stuff is important too, because like so the other George that's behind the scenes, George 5, he's 15, about to turn 16, so he's about to be able to like drive on his own in a year or two, however this new system works out. But like, I got a kid who's actively getting excited about going across the country and visiting all these places. Like for him doing this is like the highlight for him, is he's getting all these places that he wants to go.
Absolutely.
Let's do it. And we can leave my wife and other kids at home. So that's even better.
Here's a plug I'm going to do for Jerry McClanahan right now. I just bought this today. The Easy Guide, of course. This is the 5th edition. I finally got the latest copy. It's kind of the Bible of road tripping on 66 here. And of course, Marian's Route 66 navigation app is great too. And also I bought this at the old Riverton store today. So, if you get a chance, buy it from a local too.
Of course.
If you have to get it off Amazon, great, whatever, as long as you get it. But buy it from a local store and give them the money. So that's a good one to start with if you're new to the route.
We got a Facebook user that's commenting that Jeremy is also the mayor of Red Oak too.
So so we have a mayor, Mayor Jim Westman, who used to be the mayor of Carthage right here. Jim Westman, his main job, he's self-appointed lifetime mayor. So he's there until he's done. He sits on the porch, drinks scotch, smokes his cigar, welcomes visitors. He's the mayor because he has the tractor and he fills the potholes. But he named me sheriff, and my job is to follow him with a rake while he sits in the air-conditioned cabin. So that's kind of that's the structure.
That's interesting because I fill potholes for a living, and I do it with asphalt.
And I follow with a rake.
Well, we do it printed. We just have creek rock. We go down to the creek, we grab the rock, we use the John Deere to smooth it, and then I actually rake the details. And so that's my main job. It's not really glamorous when behind the scenes.
We had another question from Nolan Stoltz. He wanted to know if all the residents at Red Oak 2, if they're artists, and out of all the residents that are there, the ones who are artists, what disciplines are they following?
I mean, at the moment we've had artists come and go. April, his daughter used to live there. All 3 of his daughters actually lived there one time. April's a great artist in her own right.
They were living next door, weren't they, at Firefox Farms?
Well, so Ren lives there still. That's his youngest daughter. She's actually still on the farm. Heather, she moved off. And then April also moved off from Red Oak. But right now, it's a private neighborhood. So, I mean, we've got people from all walks of life. We got Mayor Jim. We've got Larry Cerny across the street from me, who he's a Dow chemical chemist. He's got all these patents. He's like a Mr. Wizard of Red Oak. So everybody kind of we have different roles and different from all walks of life. As far as artists, I mean, I guess all of us have at least some artistic ambition. I don't know if we'd call ourselves artists or not. Lowell, when he's passed, he said, Jeremy, keep it art. It doesn't have to be my art, but, keep creating. And so, first thing I did was create my bottle wall, and I created some sculptures. And so there's no covenants at Red Oak.
Wall. George, can we pull the bottle wall up?
Yeah. 5's working on that.
I saw your bottle wall, and my
first
wife
project.
Drinks a lot of wine, and I said, we got to start saving these bottles. And she usually drinks out of green or blue bottles. So now I got a bunch of bottles I'm saving up.
You're well on your way to a bottle wall then. Perfect.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. And the ones on top now, I just let those fall over in the wind because those are just, Bud Light bottles, and I just replace them and drink them as needed.
There's an incentive for creating a bottle wall. You get to drink the contents.
You get to enjoy it.
Do we have that picture yet?
Yeah, he's working on it.
But people say, is there covenants out here? It's like, no, there's just peer pressure. You can build a giant totem pole in your yard, whatever you want. You want a giant sculpture. We'll just tell you if we don't like it. So we keep each other in the loop. It's very communal.
It's kind of difficult to see, but There it is. That's the bottle wall. And I love that picture. There's a lot going on in this picture. So you got the sun, and you're just catching the sunburst off that beam.
Sure.
And then
I'm an amateur photographer, so I use sun glint to cover up my inadequacy there. But
you probably learned a little bit from Liz. Oh,
I actually did. No, it's fine. That's fine. I did learn a lot about framing and all kinds of stuff. So that's true.
So I love the shadows. The
Thank
shadows it creates on the patio there is pretty amazing. I really like it a lot. That's very inspiring.
Thank you. So at sunset, that's facing west. So at sunset, it actually kind of glows green in there. And all that wood was salvaged there too. That actually came from the bridge, the 1903 bridge at Red Oak. People couldn't drive over it any longer, but we don't like to throw away, 100-year-old wood. So I dragged each of those pieces by hand and made a deck out of it. So we save everything.
That's really cool. Lowell will be proud. I know he would.
Absolutely.
Somebody asked a question about the Painted Desert Trading Post and if I'm going to do an episode. And I'm sure we will. I think it was Debbie that asked. We're going to do an episode at some point. But to do the Painted Desert Trading Post right, I got to bring in at least a majority of the members, the co-op members that have created and that whole mission to save the trading post. Got to have at least 5 or 6 people in there, and maybe a couple other guests, some of our volunteers that were out there on a consistent basis helping us. So that'll be a production that will take some time to put together. But at some point here, I would think we will do that. Yeah. Thanks, Debbie. We have other questions.
Everybody's just really excited that I think it's nice weather. People are ready to get out on the road again.
It's going to be a big season.
Like everyone's excited. It was a nice here in Missouri. It was a nice 70-degree day. I'm sure in Missouri it was about the same as well. But
pretty much
all across the country, we're getting that nice weather. People are getting ready to go back out and start driving.
Absolutely, it's going to be a big season, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I've been out twice on the road here in the last couple of weeks, and the adventure truck number 2 is proving to be a very solid purchase. I'm so excited, and it drives really nice, and I have no worries now. That was one of the things about me driving down the road was worrying about what I'm driving, and the adventure truck is perfect because it's old, it's easy to work on, the parts are cheap. Something were to happen, I don't have to worry about it getting scratched. I can get in and out of it. It's, like the Corvette. I hate driving the Corvette on road trips because it's hard to get in and out of. You can't pack anything. My pickup truck eats too much gas. So this is pretty good. I'm excited to get out there and do some more 66. And
come to Red Oak. Come see us, Rich.
I'm going to here on the 15th. I'll be there. I'm probably going to try to stay a couple nights like I suggested to everybody else. So who knows? We may have a roadie gathering in the making. You just never know when these things are going to happen sometimes.
It just spontaneously happens
sometimes. Not. Yeah.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it.
I wouldn't be surprised if 15 or 20 roadies showed up and we start having a party someplace and we're all hanging out at Red Oak 2 and hanging out at the drive-in movie theater, and it should be one heck of a time. I love Carthage.
That sounds fun. Awesome Dean just called me a minute ago. He said he's on his way there too. So Crazy Legs.
Oh, he is?
Crazy
Dean's
Legs.
Gonna be there? Crazy
Absolutely.
Legs. You know what? We got a clip of him too. We got that ready. Oh,
I'm
really
kind of Crazy Legs chauffeur these days. If you haven't noticed,
I'm testing him.
You've been testing us a lot today.
Yeah,
I know. Let's bring up the clip of Crazy Legs. We got to show that to people because at some point
we got no.
Should be Dean Walker.
Yep.
Let's see here.
I got
Dean Walker. Yeah.
And if you haven't seen, there's a new painting of Dean Walker in Galena, just down from Cars on the Roof. It just appeared this last couple of weeks. So
let's go full screen, guys.
Okay, now you do it. Kick it hard. No, kick it. Kick it. Kick it. Now, Teddy, stop.
Police brutality.
Stop.
The opposite.
Turn around.
If you just kick the head off a cop, I'm going to give you a summary. There you go.
You just got your kicks on Route 6.
I wish the footage was better.
Right there at the
end. For those of you that don't know Dean Walker, I mean, we could go on and on about this man. He's been awesome for Route 66. That's a good picture right there. he can twist his legs backwards. He's been on the Jay Leno show. He's one of the inspirations for the character Tomater on the movie Cars. He used to paint Route 66 shields up and down the road through Kansas and Oklahoma, like I started doing, 13 years ago now. But Dean's a really great guy, and we just love him on Route 66. He's fantastic. Jeremy, we're getting down to the closing moments here. I wish we had more time. I think I'm just going to have to do a special show at the parsonage at Road Up.
Let's do a remote. Perfect. We'll do the tour. We'll do the loop, and we'll just go around all the buildings.
We'll have to. I don't know if we can do it live, though. We're going to have trouble with
get that Wi-Fi fixed.
That's true. We may have to record it and pre-record it.
Yeah, that'll be okay.
We'll do some post-production on it.
Maybe you've convinced the Georges to come down in a couple weeks. What do you say, guys?
Let's do it.
I think so.
George is already saying
more than
definitely.
welcome.
It's going to be a fun time. Folks, let's put the QR code up one more time. April the 15th. The people are coming. You should be there too. Join us at the Missouri 66 Association meeting. It's going to be a great time. And I'm sure if something develops, we'll put it into the 66 Minutes Facebook group to get you guys updated on all the different events and stuff that are going to be happening. You never know. We may have a little get-together going right now for 2 weeks from now. That'll be a special time. Don't want to miss it. Okay. Jeremy, did you want to close us out? You said you had something special prepared for us, I think.
I'm super excited for it. I'm going to close
let's
out.
do a – you know what? I'm going to do I'll do an outro for you. This show needs some more music, so we're going to do a little ukulele outro for the show.
Yeah, Rich, you give your spiel.
With the company.
This is our outro for
You can
tonight.
talk
Thanks,
over it,
Jeremy.
man.
Yeah, just keep playing. I'll do the little
All right.
spiel. Thanks, everybody, for showing up tonight. What a great time. Thank you, Jeremy, for coming on. Thanks, Sean Fowler. Thanks, all the audience members. You can always find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even Twitch. I appreciate you guys sharing this video, like the video, sharing it. And you can see us every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. This is 66 Minutes with Roman Rich. Thanks for watching. As always, go your own way. See you guys.
Bye, y'all.
You can go your own way.